Hello, in this video we're looking at issue 75 of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium magazine, in which we finish our terrain collection with a second Haemotrope Reactor, and in our game the Necrons will be trying to sabotage an Imperial ship. Hello, I'm Will, and this is Mike with the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And we're bringing you issue 75 of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium magazine. With this issue we got our last piece of terrain for the collection, a second Haemotrope Reactor. So we'll be building and painting that, and it'll join our terrain on our board in our battle report, which you can skip to using the time code in the description below if you'd like to. But we'll have a look at the contents of the issue before we get there. So first up, and as featured on the front cover, we have background on the Leagues of Votann. Short, stocky humanoids, possibly descendants of humans from a long time previously, although it's not certain. They're grouped into familial bands called kin, and larger things called the Leagues, which are centred around a thing called a Votann, which we learn here are thought to be gigantic processing cores that direct each of the Leagues, and they'll fight fiercely to defend them. It mentions that a lot of their technology resembles that of the Imperium, but is often more advanced and more efficient at what it does, leading to speculation that they may have once been connected to humanity in some way, but have diverged and managed to keep more of their technology intact. The League's general motivation is for resource gathering and acquisition, although they also have fearsome military to back up when their interests are threatened. And we have the Chaos Demons of Nurgle. Like all demons, these reflect the tendencies of their patron, so the disgusting creatures heavily afflicted with various plagues, but are paradoxically extremely resilient and difficult to get rid of. So here we have the Plague Bearers, the Foot Soldiers of Nurgle, who are tasked with recording all the various plagues that Nurgle creates. The Nurglings, little critters that follow around all the Nurgle demons. The Heralds are the more powerful of the Plague Bearers, and Great Unclean Ones are the greater demons of Nurgle, who take an almost fatherly pride in their lesser creatures as they spread disease across the galaxy. We have the War for Darovar now, the home of the traitor knights of House Mandrakor, which is situated near the Nachman Gauntlet, which we've learnt about before, and the Castellans of the Rift, Space Marine chapter, who are tasked with defending it, decided to invade the system in order to destroy this powerful force that was threatening the stability of the Gauntlet. And so they enlisted various Imperial forces to do this. There's a picture of one of the Knights of House Mandrakor there, in their orange and black livery. Unfortunately, the war has evolved into a bit of a stalemate that was only broken when Abaddon the Despoiler's favoured Lieutenant Harkon Worldclaimer arrived with the Black Legion forces and managed to drive the Imperium off. We have a short story now about the kindreds of the Great Arthurian League of the Leagues of Votann, searching for mineral resources, but then they run into Chaos Space Marines from the Black Legion. And so you can actually see some of their miniatures there in the picture at the top, and a bit of background on the Black Legion, the Legion of Abaddon the Despoiler himself. And now the build guide for the Haemotrope Reactor, which is basically the same as the previous one. But they tell you to make this one slightly differently by putting the extra pipe in the middle rather than on one of the ends. And you can see that on the printed terrain on the board. And it also gives us two variant painting guides for it. So you could either paint it in the way that was shown for the first one, quite a number of issues ago, but there are two variant ones here. So the first one is all rusty and grimy, as though it has been neglected and abandoned. So you start off by actually putting some astrogranite texture paint on it, and then with an Abaddon black base coat and then a lead belcher dry brush gives it a dark metal look. But then using Mournfang Brown and Balor Brown on the parts that we put astrogranite on to make them look like rust and grime has built up on those areas, and using Cryptek Armour Shade Gloss and watered down Mournfang Brown to represent rust and oil and things like that, and Trollslayer Orange for the brightest bits, which does look quite effective. Or this one, which it describes as a sort of sandy sun-bleached look, where we start with a base coat of Mournfang Brown and then paint various sections, this time making the skull in the traditional black and white of the Adeptus Mechanicus. And so there you get a slightly different one. It also shows a picture here of the original one and a couple of updates with paints that we didn't add to it the first time round, just to spice that one up as well. So that's it for our issue contents. I'll hand you over to Mike now, where we'll be getting straight into our game.
So no new rules in this issue, so we can get straight into today's backstory, where in a fit of tactical genius, or perhaps he's just been in stasis for too long, the Necron Overlord has decided to launch a strike on an Imperial ship in orbit to try and disrupt the Imperium's attempts to reinforce the surface. And those Imperial troops that are still on the vessel are rushing to defend it, while the Necrons are just going to get on board and cause as much chaos as they can. And today's mission is Repel Borders, a 75 power veteran mission. We have 4 battle mats set out. So you can see player A has a 15-inch square deployment zone at the bottom left. Player B has a large L-shaped deployment zone opposite. In this case, the Necron player is player A, so obviously the Imperium is player B. And there are 5 action markers, or in a sort of H shape. You can see it there, I'm not going to attempt to describe it. So these don't follow the normal veteran mission rules. The only objective is sabotage, so one or more unit from player A's army can start this action at the end of each of their movement phases, as long as they're within range of an action marker, and the unit cannot start that action if an enemy unit is also in range of that action marker. And this action is completed at the end of player A's next command phase, and then if by the end of the game player A has performed the sabotage action on 3 or more different action markers, they win, otherwise player B wins. And secondary objectives will be irrelevant, so we're not allowed to take any of this mission. So I'll show you our armies and get straight into the game. Well, here's my Imperium force, going for a mix of Marines and a few Battle Sisters tagging along. So I've got 4 characters. I've got the Captain, who's going to be my Warlord, and he'll have Iron Resolve as his Warlord trait. I'm actually bringing both Lieutenants, and the Phobos Librarian. Librarian's going to have Hallucination and Telembrous Curse as his psychic powers. And along with them I've got the Victrix Guard, unit of Infiltrators, the Aggressors, 2 units of 5 Assault Intercessors, the Eliminators, the Suppressors, the Outriders. And I'm bringing the Servo Turret again, because I think actually this might be a good showing of the Las Talons, and I think it fits fairly well with the narrative. And to fill out the remaining 9 power, I've got the Battle Sister Squad and the Penitent Engine.
And then here's my Necron army. It's actually only 74 power because I just couldn't find something to put that extra power with. So we've got the Overlord, who's obviously in charge. He'll have the Implacable Conqueror Warlord trait to reroll charge rolls for core units. I think that might actually come in handy this game. We've also got the Destroyer Lord, the Technomancer, and the Royal Warden. Technomancer's going to have the Failsafe Overcharger Arcana, which gives extra attacks to Canoptic units. My usual 3 troops units. We've also got 2 Crypto Thralls, 5 Lich Guard, 5 Deathmarks, 5 Flayed Ones, 2 units of 3 Canoptic Scarabs, 3 Scorpic Destroyers, the Canoptic Plasmacyte, the Wraith, and the Canoptic Spider.
I can't quite get the entire board in shot, but you can see basically all of the important terrain here. You can see objectives 4 and 5 down the bottom, and 1, 2 and 3 are across the top. We flip the board around because I'm on this side of the table, and this interior of this ship looks suspiciously like the surface of Kjalma's skull, but we've got the extra Haemotrope Reactor, so you know it's on a ship. Go over my deployment first. Down at the bottom, from left to right, I've got the Outriders, 1 unit of Assault Intercessors, the Lieutenant and the Captain with the Suppressors, the 5-strike Servo Turret, the Battle Sisters, and the Aggressors, near objectives 4 and 5. And I've also got the Eliminators up here, above objective 4. And over near objective 1, I've got the Infiltrators and the Phobos Librarian. I've deployed using concealed positions, and then the other unit of Assault Intercessors, the Victrix Guard, and the Penitent Engine are there to back them up. And I have the Phobos Lieutenant ready to deep strike in. Presumably he's dropping in from a vent.
And then my army is all crammed into the corner over here. Well, it's a huge mess, so I'm not actually going to tell you where every individual unit is. The important thing is that there are some warriors right on the tip of the deployment zone, followed by the Lich Guard and basically all the characters in the middle, and the Wraiths are in range to go and jump on the objective. And in Dimensional Translocation, I've got the Flayed Ones and the Deathmarks for the first time ever, because there's not very good firing positions over near my board edge.
The only other pre-battle thing, my second right is going to be Divine Guidance for my unit Battle Sisters. And other than that, we do roll off to see who goes first. I won the roll off. I think I'll go first. So we're in Imperium turn 1. Well, I gained a Miracle Dice and I got 4.
And Battle Round 1 Command Protocol will be Sudden Storm for +1 movement.
So my movement phase up near objective 1, the Victrix Guard, the Penitent Engine and the Assault Intercessors just advance so they can all get around objective 1 basically. The Librarian and Infiltrators are going to hold position. Down here, again more moving up except for the Suppressors and the Eliminators, the Bikes, Assault Intercessors, the 2 characters and the turret have all moved so the turret can actually get in range of something. And then so the Battle Sisters and those Aggressors on the flank there getting around objective 5. And we're going to skip the Psychic phase because none of the Librarian Psychic powers are going to be in range. I'm going to start shooting with the Suppressors. They're going to shoot at the Spider. 9 shots from the Suppressors, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s because of the Captain. 6 hits, wounding on 3s, rerolling 1s because of the Lieutenant. And you know what, I'll spend a command point to reroll one of those 2s. Oh, into a 2. So only 4 wounds.
8 minus 2 though, so I do have to pass 2 of these. Oh, I passed 2, so it takes 4 damage.
Do the Eliminators next. They can all see the Spider, so I'm going to try and finish it off with some Mortis rounds. 3 shots on 2s, rerolling 1s. Yeah, they all hit. Winning on 5s, but rerolling 1s because of the Lieutenant. There's a mortal wound in there. Only 1 wound, but it causes a mortal wound in addition. And it's AP minus 3.
Yes, because of Devastator. So I need a 6. No. So it is destroyed. Does it explode on 6? No.
I'll do the Servo Turret next. It's only in range of the Warriors. 4 shots on 2s. 3 hits, wounding on 2s, 2 dead warriors.
But do they come back? One does.
Battle Sisters next are going to shoot at those scarabs behind the barrel. So 6 wounds from the regular bolt guns. Stormbolter didn't do anything.
There's 1 behind cover, so 4 5+ saves to start with. It's got 1 wound left. It's dead, and then a 6. Yeah, so we lose a base, which might come back, potentially. Ooh, very close.
I think the only other unit in range is the Outriders. They're going to shoot at the warriors. 3 wounds from the Outriders.
5s. Oh, made 2. Does it come back? No.
That is going to be it for Imperium turn 1 on to Necrons turn 1.
So in my command phase, I put my will be done on the Immortals, brought back both of the dead warriors with the Technomancer, and then nearly everything advanced. I'll tell you the things that didn't. The Wraiths didn't, because they can get in range of action marker 2 and start the action on that, and the Raw Warden did not, so he can do the action on number 3, which is under that warrior there, and the Immortals didn't, so they can shoot. So there won't be all that much shooting. In fact, only 1 unit shooting, which is the Immortals. They can see the Outriders, so we'll start chipping wounds off. But they failed to score any wounds, and yeah, nothing else to shoot, so that'll be the end of my turn.
And then we're on Imperium turn 2. So I get a 6 as my second miracle dice.
And we're going to have Protocol of the Eternal Guardian. I don't think I'm going to be charged, so I'm going to go for cover for everything that hasn't moved, which will be everything this battle round.
So my movement phase, starting at the bottom of the board. Over on the right, the aggressors advanced, and I had to re-roll it, so I used a command point to get them over the pipe, and they're all just about in range of the Lich Guard, who are just beyond that building on the top right there. You can see them through the window. Battis is going to stay where they are. Turrets moved up a bit closer to get in range of the Wraiths. The suppressors have moved around so they can all see the Wraiths. 2 characters are going to stay where they are because they need to support the suppressors. The Assault Intercessor is just going to consolidate over Objective 4. In the middle, the Outriders are going to be very brave and basically just drive in between the 2 Haemotrope Reactors. Although if I do manage to kill the Wraiths, there will now be an Outrider in range of Objective 2, which means that the Necrons won't be able to perform the action just yet. And over on Objective 1, Infiltrators are going to stay where they are. Victrix Guard advanced to get them ahead of the boxes. The Predator Engine moved up behind Normandy and is just in range of those Scarabs to fire its heavy flamers. And the Librarian has moved up to get 18 of the Destroyers who are behind that building, so you can try and do Tenebrous Curse. And at the end of the movement phase, I'm going to bring my other lieutenant near the front, so he is within range of the Victrix Guard, so he can't be shot at, and he is just about in range of the Outriders, so he can benefit them. But yeah, in the psychic phase, the Librarian's going to try and manifest Tenebrous Curse. So Tenebrous Curse needs a 7. Oh, he is successful with a 7.
The Spider's dead, so I cannot
deny. The Destroyers will take a mortal wound, and their movement range is halved, and they get -2 to advance and charge rolls. And he'll try and do Hallucination on the Destroyers as well, needing a 6. Gets it with a 6. So they have -1 leadership and -1 to hit all their attacks until my next psychic phase. Going to start the shooting phase with the aggressors, who are going to shoot at the Lich Guard. 6 wounds from the aggressors.
And a tactical doctrine, but cancelled out by my command protocol effectively, so 3s. Well, we do take 3 wounds and lose 1, which might come back. No.
Eliminators next. They're going to shoot the Lich Guard as well. So 3 shots on 2s, you're rolling 1s. Using mortis rounds, I should say, but yeah. Wounding on 4s, you're rolling 1s. So just 1 wound and a mortal wound.
We're -2 now, so with cover that'll be a 4, which I failed. So the 2 damage will kill the wounded one, and then the mortal wound will be applied.
Does the wounded one come back?
No.
Servo turret next is going to shoot at the Wraiths. 4 shots hitting on 2s, they'll hit. Wounding on 3s. Now I'm going to spend a command point to re-roll that 2 because I really want the Wraiths to die. They'll wound.
4+ invulnerable saves. Made 2, failed 2. I will spend a command point to re-roll 1 of those now. So I've got only 1 failed wound.
And then D6 damage. 1. Suppressors are going to have to finish the job. 9 shots on 4s because they moved to get line of sight. Re-rolling 1s because of the captain. Re-roll that 1. Ooh, 6 hits again. Wounding on 3s, re-rolling 1s. 5 wounds.
4s again. Ooh, failed 3. So killed 2. And reanimating. We get 1 back.
Right after the top, the Penitent Engine is in range of those Scarabs, so it will fire its heavy flamers at them. 5 wounds with the heavy flamer.
Cover with 6s. Made 1, but we do lose a base. Reanimating. No.
The Infiltrators up there are going to take some pot shots at the Destroyers. 4 wounds, AP -1.
Cover is 3s again. Take a wound.
The Outriders are going to shoot at the Wraiths, because they can all see that one on the end.
3 wounds with 3s. Take a wound.
Battle Sisters will shoot at the Immortals, see if I can pick a few of them off. 2 wounds, no AP though.
So 2s, we're fine.
And the only other bit of shooting is the Assault Intercessors down here will put some pistol shots into the Warriors in the middle. 2 wounds, AP -1 cancels out cover.
4s. Lose 1. Does it come back? No.
I've actually got the lieutenant left there as well, the Phobos lieutenant, and he can see a crypto thrall, so he'll try and pick one of them off. But he failed to wound. That's all of my shooting. So the Outriders are going to charge, and they're going to charge the Wraiths, so they will have to go into the building, but there's a lot of warriors there, we'll just overwatch them. I'll show the roll because it's important. 3, so I'm probably going to re-roll that. So 3 again. Uh-oh. 3 definitely isn't enough, but yeah, that's actually going to be it for my turn. On to Necron's turn too.
So we brought back a Lich Guard in the command phase with the Technomancer, and my will be done went on the Warriors with the Gauss Reapers, who you can see have moved towards the middle. We're all heading towards Objective 1, basically. The Destroyers unfortunately had to advance, even with the -2 on the roll, because they were going to get nowhere at all otherwise. But besides that, nothing did advance, so we can't all shoot and charge and stuff. And then I've brought in both of my reinforcement units on the other side of Objective 1, so trying to attack it from all angles. Got the flayed ones closer to the camera, and then the death marks a bit further away. More than 12 inches from the infiltrators and 9 inches from the assault intercessors. So we're on to shooting. We'll start with the Wraiths. They're going to shoot at the Penitent Engine, to see if I can get a lucky 3 damage. On 4s, 1 hit, and a 5. No. We'll do all the Warriors with Gauss Reapers next, shooting at the Outriders. Got 7 wounds.
So 7 5+ saves, which we made 1 of, so 1 guy will die.
Technomancer also shot at them but failed to do anything further. The Royal Warden will shoot at them. 1 more save.
5+. No, so that's another dead Outrider.
Got another save from the Crypto Thralls.
Yep, Sarge's fine.
Warriors with Gauss Flayers are going to shoot the Eliminators because it's kind of the only target they can really see, and I want to charge the Outrider Sergeant.
3 wounds, so 3 2+ saves because we're in cover. Oh, we failed 1.
1 further wound from an Immortal.
So 3+. Oh, we're losing the Eliminator. Nah, no, I'm going to re-roll that. Save an Eliminator, hopefully. Needing a 3? Yes, he's fine.
Not much left. The Destroyer's going to shoot at the Infiltrators, try and use up the Medic's re-roll.
I'll use Transhuman for them.
So 4's wound. Oh, we've got 4 wounds anyway.
Never mind. Those guys in cover. So 3s. Oh, so it does use up the Medic.
The Death Marks will shoot them as well. So 3s because they came in, which counts as moving. More on the box. 2 misses. 4s because of Transhuman. Oh, nothing anyway. So we're on to the charge phase. We're going to start with the Lich Guard charging that Outrider Sergeant. They rolled 6. So they get round like that, and then the Overlord just went in as well. And then my next charge will be the Wraiths charging the Infiltrators. They finish there, and the Scarabs will try as well. And finally, the Flayed ones will attempt to charge those Assault Intercessors. They need a 9. They don't get 1. I won't re-roll it. So no more charges. I'll start with the Lich Guard. So we've got 12 attacks, hitting on 3s. Only 6 hits, wounding on 3s. Well, but yeah, that's 4. 8 damage. So they're going to consolidate like that, and then the Overlord can be picked to pile in and consolidate, getting himself to there, like that. So we'll do the Wraiths next.
So we'll use Transhuman on the Infiltrators.
Then we've got 10 attacks because of the failsafe Overcharger, hitting on 4s. Well, they hit once. 4. Nope.
2 wounds from the Scarabs on the Infiltrators as well with the 3+, they're fine. Infiltrator hitbacks, I spent a command point for Gene Wrought Might and then didn't get any 6s to hit, but I did get 5 wounds overall.
So 3s. Oh, 8 wound.
But that's it for the end of the turn and the battle round. And we're on to Imperium turn 3. So I get another Miracle Dice, which is a 4. I'm going to switch to the Assault Doctrine now as well.
And we're on to Protocol of the Undying Legions, and we'll go for re-rolling a Reanimation Protocol roll.
So my movement phase, aggressors are moving up into that building, Battle Sisters are just consolidating around Objective 5, the turret has moved so that it can see the Destroyers, Suppressors moving up on top of the building to get line of sight on things, 2 characters and the Assault Intercessors moving to get towards Objective 1. On Objective 1, Infiltrators are falling back, Lieutenant in Phobos armor is going to get in towards the middle, and then we're just going to sort of consolidate around the objective again, hopefully deal with those Wraiths and Scarabs and then make the Necrons come and get us. So in the Psychic phase, the Librarian's first going to try and manifest Smite, needing a 5. Going to re-roll that so he doesn't perils. Now is not the time to whiff. There we go, he gets it.
That will hit the Wraiths.
D3 mortal wounds for 3.
Kills a Wraith, which can't come back.
Yeah. Then he will try to manifest Tenebrous Curse again. He gets it with an 8, and that will go on the Destroyers again. I'll start with the aggressors. Sergeant and the guy on the far right can see the warriors with the flayers, so they'll flame them. The other guy can see the immortals, so he'll shoot at them. We've got 6 wounds on the warriors.
With 4s, we lose 2. 1 comes back, I can re-roll that with the command protocol. You can't re-roll it again, so 1 dies.
And 3 wounds on the immortals.
With 3s. Oh, we failed 2. Coming back, 1 comes back, re-roll. Let's come back.
Now I'm going to do the Fire Strike turret. It's going to shoot at the Destroyers. We have 4 shots hitting on 2s. They will hit. Wounding on 3s. 2 wounds. I think I'll actually re-roll one of those. It wounded, so 3 wounds. 8 minus 3.
We're in cover, so 5s. We made none of them. I will try and re-roll that. I've got a lot of command points. 5. No, still 3 wounds.
So d6 damage. I'll do these individually. So the first one, 4, so that's dead. Next one, 2. Oh, yeah, I've already used my command point, so it'll just kill 2. So I only killed 2, so 1 might come back.
No, and even with the re-roll from the command protocol.
I'll do the suppressors next. They're going to shoot at the Lich Guard. 9 shots on 4s because they moved. 3 rolling 1s because of the captain. Ooh, that's not so good. So re-roll those. Getting 3 hits in total. Wounding on 3s, rolling 1s. 1 wound.
One's actually got toe in cover, so 3. Oh, I did die though.
Does it come back?
Re-roll the protocol. It does.
Up at the top, Librarian will throw a crack grenade at the Wraith. Yeah, Librarian missed, so the Victrix Guard will have to finish it off. They missed as well, so that Lieutenant there might have a go. He got 1 hit and a wound at least.
With his bolt gun, so yes, because it's not in tactical order.
Can the Assault Intercessors do the job? They missed with their grenade as well. We just got a pistol wound.
4 plus invulnerable? Yep.
This Lieutenant with the shield is in range of the Lich Guard, so he'll shoot them with his Neo-Volkite pistol. But apparently he forgot to load it, he just missed twice, so I'll have the Eliminators go next, and they'll shoot the Lich Guard as well with mortis rounds. 3 shots on 2s, rolling 1s, yeah, see they can hit. We're only on 4s, re-rolling 1s. 1 wound.
Go in cover again. 4. Oh, he dies again because it's the same one who died before. He might come back again. No, that would no.
Yeah. These Assault Intercessors can see the Lich Guard as well, so they will shoot at them. They got a wound.
So a wound.
Battle Sisters next. They're going to shoot at the Immortals. They don't really have any decent targets. 2 wounds.
3s. Yeah.
I'll do the Heavy Flamers from the Penitent Engine. It's going to shoot them into the Wraith. 6 wounds on the Wraith.
But there is a box interposing, so we'll get 3s, I think. Oh, well, it's dead.
And that's all my shooting, so in the charge phase, I'll start with the Penitent Engine. It's going to charge the Lich Guard. It gets an 8. That's going to be in. So Penitent Engine gets in like that, and then the Victrix Guard and the Librarian are both going to go into those Scarabs. That's all my charging. I'm going to pick the Penitent Engine to go first. Penitent Engine has 5 attacks, hitting on 4s but re-rolling everything because it charged. Because of Zealot, so re-roll that 3. 5 hits. We're only on 3s with no save, so 3s.
They're all dead.
Yeah. So Penitent Engine finishes off the Lich Guard, and he can consolidate 5 inches because it's very angry, and that's just enough movement to get it an inch away from that warrior in the building, but still just over an inch away from the Overlord.
But then I can spend 2 command points to interrupt with the Scarabs, and another command point to attempt to blow one up in the face of a Victrix Guard. So 2 plus something happens. Oh, 6. That's 3 mortal wounds.
Oh, so he just dies. Well, the mighty Scarabs, they even managed to do a wound against the Victrix Guard with his 2+ save. But then the Librarian will pile in and do his attacks first. Librarian got 2 wounds, so it's d3 damage each. 4, so that's dead Scarabs.
And then all those warriors have piled in and rolled their attacks, and they got 1 wound.
So 4+ armour, it's fine. But that's going to be it. So we're on to Necron's turn 3.
Well, everybody has to go towards objective 1 because I've committed now and I have to clear that objective in this turn so I can do the action in my next turn. There's been a lot of mucking around because the warriors with Gauss Reapers had to fall back. They have got adaptive strategy from the Royal Warden on them, so they will be able to shoot despite falling back. They also got My Will Be Done from the Overlord, and the Technomancer brought one of them back. Otherwise, everybody's just moved in that general direction. And over here, even the Death Marks have moved towards objective 1. I'm going to start shooting with the Death Marks, actually, because they might be able to mortal wound that Victrix Guard to death, and either moment he's protecting the characters. So, hitting on 3s because they moved, didn't matter, and 3s, 6 is still mortal wound. 3 normal wounds.
3+ invulnerable saves. Failed 1, you can take a wound.
All the warriors with Gauss Reapers are going to shoot at the Assault Intercessors on the objective, apart from the 2 who aren't in range who will shoot the Victrix Guard.
Yeah, and I'm going to use a command point for Transhuman Physiology on the Assault Intercessors. There are 6 wounds on the Assault Intercessors, 2 of them have cover from the box, and the Sergeant, but he'll die last, so 4. 1 of them's still alive, and he's still alive, and still alive. So I lose 1, and the other guy takes a wound.
And then I got 4 wounds on the Victrix Guard.
Yeah, so 3s. Not even with a reroll can save him, so he goes down. And I've got another wound on the Assault Intercessors from the Technomancer, so a 5+, so that will kill an Assault Intercessor.
The Royal Warden failed to wound them, and the Immortals got 3 wounds.
Yeah, I'll put them on guys who aren't in cover, so 5s. Well, made 1, so 1 guy dies.
Well, finally we've got the Warriors with Gauss Flayers shooting at them as well, and I used Relentless Onslaught, so 6s to hit are an extra hit. Didn't roll enough dice, an extra hit, so 8 hits. And 4s. Oh, only 3.
3, 4+ saves. Made 2.
Onto the charge phase. We'll do the Overlord first. He's going to charge the Lieutenant in Phobos armour. Yeah, he's in. So he'll go there. We'll do the Destroyer Lord next. He's going to charge the Infiltrators and both of the characters because I want to get him in the middle. And I'm also in the charge phase going to juice him up with the Plasma Sight as well. So 1/1 he dies. He's fine. And his charge, well, I think that's enough. Yes, that's enough to get him into the midst of all that. And we'll do the Flayed ones next, charging the Assault Intercessors only. We'll need a good roll though. Oh, might be enough. Death Marks are even going to charge into the Infiltrators. That is not enough. I will re-roll that. No, another 4. And that remaining Destroyer will charge the Penitent Engine. Short charge, but -2 because of Tenebrous Curse. Oh, a 9. Yeah.
And there's also a last charge we forgot to show, but these Scarabs charged the turret and made it in.
So that's all my charges, because throwing more models on the objective is only going to help beyond a certain point. So we'll do the Destroyer Lord first, attacking the Infiltrators.
So I'm going to spend a command point for Transhuman Physiology.
So he has 5 attacks, because it's juiced up by the Plasma Sight with his big weapon, which hit on 3s, so we've already got a miss. But re-rolling 1s, only 3 hits, and wounding on 4s. Oh, he killed re-rolling 1s, 2 wounds, but the medic will scrub one of them.
1 dead then. I'll spend 2 command points to interrupt with the Penitent Engine. 5 attacks on 4s, re-rolling everything. Oof. Oh no, 1 hit. Wounds on a 3. It does.
Well, it takes 2 damage. And I've just got all the rest of my units, so I'll do that. Destroyer, it hits that many times. It hits 4 times. This is only the strength 5 one though, so 4s, well, 2 wounds, no save.
Yeah, so ignoring all 5s. Yeah, ignored 1, so it's down to 2.
Overlord has 4 attacks on 3s. I only hit twice. Wounds on 2s though. Yeah, 6 damage.
Yeah, goodbye, Phobos Lieutenant. Overlord gets himself into the middle, and then the Flayed ones get to go.
And then the Flayed ones get 15 attacks on 3s. 6s are an extra hit. 11 hits, wounding on 4s. 6.
6 saves at -1. Yeah, they're gone.
And finally I've got the Scarabs, and they have one of them has powered in to bring the Eliminators in, but we have to attack the turret. Well, they did a wound.
Yeah, turret's down to 4. It's only my hitbacks now, so I'll do the Infiltrators. They're going to attack the Flayed ones. And I'll spend a command point for Gene Wrought Might, and 13 attacks on the Flayed ones, hitting on 3s, 6s on auto wound. No 6s again. 9 hits, wounding on 4s, getting 3.
5 because we're in the Assault Doctrine. Well, we lose 3. Coming back, but I can re-roll 1. Oh, no, nothing at all.
Librarian will pile into base contact the Destroyer Lord, and then he has 5 attacks hitting on 3s, wounding on 5s, 2 wounds.
4s. Failed 1.
D3 damage, 2. And my hitbacks over here from the turret and the Eliminators take a Scarab base down to 1. These Infiltrators do have to take a leadership test because they have a penalty from the Flayed ones, and they did take casualties. We're leadership 8, so we're fine. So the Necrons have no chance of winning now, because effectively what's going to happen is those Infiltrators will fall back from the Destroyer Lord, and I'll still have at least one of them in range of the objective, and the Librarian can stay in melee. And it doesn't actually matter if he dies in my turn, because by the Necron's 4th movement phase I will still have a model on that objective, which means the Necrons don't actually have enough time to complete the action.
The Destroyer Lord will probably kill the Librarian, but he can't kill both units. That's the important bit. And the Overlord can't fit through that gap between the 2 models to heroically intervene into the Infiltrators, even if they are within 3.
Yeah, and I think I probably could have moved them a bit further back.
And I have no other way of achieving the objective because I can't start it in turn 5. That would be too late.
Yeah, and objectives 4 and 5 are beyond the Necron's reach. So, yes, that'll be an Imperial victory. We'll recap that game for you now. Well, that was the game for issue 75 of Warhammer 40,000 Imperium magazine. How did you think that went?
Well, I think it went reasonably well. I think my basic plan was sound, which was get 2 objectives quickly and then converge my entire army on another one, so that you had to split up and defend both, but I could bring overwhelming force to bear on one of them. But maybe I chose the wrong one. Perhaps I should have actually gone for number 5 down in the bottom right corner. The reason being that number 1 was further away, and also all my warriors and immortals didn't really do anything in this game beyond killing a few models with shooting. Perhaps if I'd gone the other way, the warriors and immortals would have got closer to the action, and then the melee units would have been able to come in and clear up whatever was left. I could have brought more force to bear on it, whereas as it was, as we saw, even in my turn 4, only half my army was actually there, and I didn't have enough guns in range to kill all the models that you had on your objective.
Well, my plan was always to just defend 3 objectives and then maybe use Assault Intercessors and Outriders and the Penitent Engine just to hold you up. It is a bit weird that we roll off to see who goes first. It's a bit odd again for a surprise attack. Me going first is an advantage because it means that my 5th turn turn is relevant, because I have a chance to stop you if you start the objective in the 4th turn. Whereas if you go first, I don't have time to do that. I felt like I was able to consolidate on my 3 objectives and then focus on holding you up, whereas if you'd gone first, you would have been able to threaten an objective, let's say objective 1, before I was able to get the rest of my army in position.
Yeah, I mean, I actually found it was a slight advantage that you had to make your moves to anticipate where I was going to go, and then I could pick based on where you were moving stuff. But probably still on balance, would have preferred to go first.
And also the fact that I got to whittle away at your dangerous melee units, like the Lich card didn't get in at all, and the destroyers were basically neutered.
I actually think it's quite an interesting game because it was close, and there were a number of moments where it could have changed, but I don't think any of them were down to dice rolls. Things like, if I'd been really, really careful about my exact charge and piling moves towards the end, I might have been able to get the Scorpec Lord standing on top of the objective, which means you would have been unable to stand within 3 inches of it without being heroically intervened into. But you probably could have just fixed that by doing what you did, having a unit stay in melee with him, and then it doesn't matter if it dies because there's another unit that
I think also, if you had gotten close to Objective Swarm 5, I would have brought things like the Destroyers and the Lich Guard in range of the Firestrike turret. And I know he said it's not that good, and to be honest, it's not that good, but this is like the one case, I think, where it's actually half decent because your force comes towards me, so it doesn't matter that it's got a short range, and none of your shooting was too threatening towards it, so yeah, it's like the optimum situation for it almost.
Your Librarian also had a good game.
Yeah, he got all of his psychic powers.
He single-handedly stopped the Destroyers having any really much of an impact on the game.
Tenebrous Curse. That's basically the ideal unit. It works on the race as well, but they still have a higher base move.
And it was nice to not have to play Take and Hold again.
Yeah.
It was nice to just do something different. I enjoyed this game more simply because it wasn't business as usual.
Oh yes, and we finish off our terrain collection with the Haemotrope Reactor. Apart from the big Mechanica Scar, I wouldn't say it's my favourite terrain piece or anything. And it is tall, so you can hide things behind it, but it's not really very wide is the issue. At least it's a slightly different layout. I mean, it goes with the pipes, that's nice as well. I'd almost want to glue them all together and have one big thing, but that's a bit hard to store, I suppose. And you do get 2 as a set, and I think it is actually an overall saving on them. I think they are fairly expensive to actually get 2 together, probably like £35 or something, if they are even available anymore. And the alternate painting scheme, nice to have alternate ideas. No, but otherwise, there's too much more to say about this game or this issue, so as always, if you like this content, do leave a like and subscribe, and leave any comments. Imperium is finished where we are, so if you got it, tell us if you've got on, or are getting on in other countries. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.